Hey folks, getting ready to put the anhydrous bar on, changing oil in the Cummins 8095. It's been needing it for a little while. So while I'm waiting for that to drain, we'll go over what's going to happen in 2024. Next year is the 90th anniversary of our farm running Allis tractors. So we'll go over what started it all and why we've kept running these orange tractors so long. And I've been asked to do kind of a tour of all the tractors we have, and that would take probably a 2-hour video. And I don't even have everything at home at the point. I've got a 6080 that's not home and my little 5015 that's sitting at the house that I live at that I've been using it to mow with. One of the few non-Allis pieces, we switched over to the New Holland hay equipment back there in the 80s, and Dad bought a swather in 71, I think. It's 1469, and we kind of been New Holland swather since. I mean, that's the second one I've bought. We still have the 1469. That's what I grew up on, and I'd like to get her out here and kind of fixed up, because they're neat little machines. You could tinker with it, but it needs rollers and some other stuff on it. So if anybody needs some, that's a 66 parts combine, and the 60 here would be a worker. Somebody'd want to put a little bit of time into it. It's in pretty good shape. Won't be sitting outside, but here's what started it. It's 1934 UC, and the belt pulley's missing. What the heck happened to it? Grandpa bought this brand new. Dad says it was one of the first sleeve blocks out of Kansas City. So I think they updated the engines being sleeved in 34 or something. I'm not an old expert, but this is what we started with. It's they only made 6,000 or so UC, so they're kind of an uncommon tractor. Been seeing more and more of them come up for sale here lately, but I'd love to get this thing in the shop and at least start a tear down, full restore process on it. See where we can find the serial number. Been trying to keep weeds down, but it's a never-ending process, and Dad hates rain. So I'm like, well, that's why we get trees all over the place. And then trees fall on the buildings, trees fall on the tractors, and then he cusses about it because he don't take care of it. And I'm like, well, we've got to do better. And we have a lot of fights over it. And now I need to see if I can't really remember where the serial numbers are on these. I probably won't be able to find it. There's a 125-6. I think that's a cast number. I've went completely stupid on where the serial's at. But anyways, this is what started her all. Grandpa traded it off in 43 for a WC wartime model, and I'll take you over and show you that. Yeah, I need to go and look up where the serial number's at and see where it actually falls. But they're just simple tractors. There ain't much to them. So it's a restore process won't really be that bad. It's just pulling a few bolts out and putting it together. So we'll walk over here. But yeah, Grandpa started running that tractor in 34. Traded it off for this WC. And you can tell it's a wartime because it used steel on it. It's steel rear end. It's square, not round. And it is 71. No. 31. What do we have? No, 51958S. That's steel. And that's wartime model. They built those. I think there was only 5,000 built. Just over 5,000. From, I think 43 something. There wasn't hardly any built because cast was really hard to come by and everything was going to the war. WW2. So, but the story was Grandpa traded that UCN. My uncle, since I cannot let nothing go, the family, Dad inherited that trait. And it's good to some extent, but we keep way too much stuff that's actually wore out, shot, needs to be thrown away. And that same day, my uncle goes back to the dealership, which was, Bush had it at the time in Higginsville, and bought that UC back. And I think he just basically parked it in the barn. And in 48, Grandpa traded the WCN for a WD. I think it was 48, 49. And my uncle goes and buys it back the same day or the next day. So those two tractors are about the only tractors other than a 190 XT Series 1 that was bought used that had ever got traded in. And of course my crazy uncles go and buy them back. So we'd been Allis from kind of day one and stated, price was always a little bit cheaper than John Deere, and it held up with Dad. So he could tear up a crowbar in the sandbox some days, it seems like. And I think that's just being farmers. But so what I'm hoping for next year is to get this 1985, 305, pulled up to the shop, get the cab pulled off, and start rebuilding her. She's been sitting here for 5 years, since 18, and it's time to get her going. I could use her. It's going to be a high dollar expense budget, but it's time. So that brings me in to what's going to happen next year. Well, I don't know. Hopefully I got another good year, decent year farming, pay the bills, and be able to go in 2025. But with the way my father is, he's turning 78 next Monday, 18th. Today's the 14th of December, and he's a lot of work. He just cannot let go of things. I've been farming the place, and everything was supposed to be kind of letting me do things how the other renters that used to have it do, and he won't let me do it. And this here is going to get done hopefully next week. That's been 5 years in the making for a man. That'll be another video. Funny story about this disc. So now he goes and he's telling people that he's going to farm the place. And Dad's been pretty much retired for the last 23 years. So, which it just makes me, just dumbfounds me that some of these farmers, you know, nothing against them, but when the next generation wants to come up, wants to farm, puts up with the bull crap, puts up with, you know, the ups and downs of farming, and they just cannot let it go. They just want to keep trying to run the show, Dad is completely off in the left field most days on farming. I mean, his yields were at the time, you know, a third to a fourth of what everybody else was raising. And I mean, I'm trying to not do that. So it puts a struggle on me because he won't sign a contract. He had contracts with everybody else, but he won't sign a contract with his own son. And just makes it hard for doing day-to-day operations, I guess. Because he does, you know, like to overshadow me. I was working on a tire and he was there the whole time yesterday, putting an air tube in 2 feet away, and it's like, I can get it. I can do it myself. So I'd say there's other people out there that have that same situation, but it's hard to deal with. It's mentally crippling. It's, you know, your ideas get shot down, and they're not they're not really unsensible ideas. You try to improve on the next year and from the previous year, and you know, all that gets shot down. Fixing up the farm, making it better, making it more productive, making improvements to stop soil erosion and keep it presentable to neighbors, yourself, and God. And in fact, I mean, we're supposed to be caretakers of this land. That's why we're here. You know, we're supposed to make improvements. We're supposed to, heal its ailing, you know, illness. He's given us the tools to do it, given us knowledge to do it, and we need to use it. So it's hard when you can't. It's hard when you're financially crippled from things that your parents do to you to not really let you succeed like you should. And there's a lot of people that are really lucky that don't have that problem. And unfortunately, it's good that you go through it, that a person can go through that hard time, but at some point it's like, when's enough? Because another 10 years of the way things are going, there's not going to be 20 years down the road. I mean, this farm has another 25 years to be a bicentennial farm, which is just outstanding, in time. And I'd like to see it get there, but with, the selfishness I've seen from my father and not wanting his son to really succeed, how, I'm a different person. Everybody's different than their parents. It's mind-boggling in some extent. So it's like this. I can go into with these tractors. I mean, that was a big leap. It was a hard pill to swallow with the amount of debt I took on to purchase these and to make a go with them. But at the end of the day, it was a choice saying, I want to do something and succeed with it, pay the debt, and enjoy visiting with the people I've met. I mean, just make a name and reputation for myself and kind of what I stand for. It's, I mean, I believe in these, Allis tractors and the quality they had and the name and what the name actually did for civilization. I mean, the contributions Allis gave to people is, everyday people, is just enormous, and nobody really understands what all Allis did do. And it's something that needs to be preserved and remembered, because it's the guys that built these tractors, the guys that used them to farm this ground, the guys that, used wheat mills to grind bread to feed the United States and the world is just, it needs to be in people's hearts, and remembered, because we wouldn't be where we're at without it. And, so that's one reason why I picked these tractors up when I had the chance, because the opportunity doesn't come around twice very often to do it. So, and I tried explaining that to my father, and he's just so in love with not spending money and trying to upgrade things and trying to live in a world that we're not actually in, which I don't disagree with on saving money, but at some point you have to keep things in check. It's just like changing oil. I would be getting, if he was here today, I guarantee he'll go back and talk to himself on how I'm screwing up changing oil in a tractor that needs to be changed, because oil does break down and degrade with heat and time. And I do not want to put a $10,000 motor in this thing. So you got to do maintenance on it. It's just simple things like that that he doesn't believe in, and then wonder why he pops pistons and blows motors up on equipment. So, but anyways, that's a little, I guess, a rant that on what hopefully, 2024 turns out to be a decent year, and we can raise good crops and things get settled out here on this farm, but and good prices. But it's hard to do that when you have to deal with control addicts. So if people like my videos, subscribe to them. It would help with kind of maintaining these tractors and keep the farm running like it should be. I'm looking at starting my own service clinic for combines and trying to get gleaner combines back in the area next year, because we've lacked that, and it's something I believe in. It's something it's a missed opportunity for a lot of folks to help reduce operating costs on their farms and increase profitability with a gleaner combine. And I can go into that on another video on why gleaners are a better choice to run. But anyways, I hope people enjoy these videos. I mean, I kind of like making them and showing off some of the things I do on the farm and what we kind of got going on, and getting out there and stuff. So, but like I said, if I could somehow monetize the channel and get enough subscribers, it would really help on making maybe help making payments on these tractors and keep this farm running and get it to a 200-year bicentennial farm. So anyways, God bless, and hope if I don't have another video before then, Merry Christmas to y'all.